Hello, this is Claire from Bright Parks and Puppy School. This video is part of the Is a Dog Right For You series, and today we're going to be covering dog breeds. If you are considering taking on a dog to be a new member of your family, it's really important to look at what type of dog would be most suited to you and whether their needs are most suited to your home and lifestyle. All dog breeds are categorised into one of 7 groups as defined by the UK Kennel Club. The groups are working, pastoral, terrier, toy, gun dog, hound and utility. Whilst not always similar in temperament or appearance, the breeds within a group will share certain characteristics and traits that make them suitable to be placed in the same group. Each breed will have their own known health conditions, and although there can be sudden occurrence of diseases within individuals, conscientious breeders will do their best to prevent the occurrence of known conditions or at least lessen the possibility of producing offspring with a genetic disease by testing dogs before breeding. We have selectively bred dogs over many generations to do and help with certain jobs, traits of which are still very much part of certain breeds today. Considering breed as part of whether a dog is right for you will help you find a dog that fits your ideal and you his or hers. Working dogs come in all shapes and sizes. Included in this group are breeds that have been used to help people, whether it's guarding them, guiding them, or helping them with tasks such as search and rescue. Some of the breeds are still used for these job roles today. 3 breeds in the working group are the Siberian Husky, the Doberman and the Newfoundland. If you are thinking that a working dog would be a good breed of dog to welcome into your family, considerations need to be given as to the amount of time in a day that you have to exercise the dog both physically and mentally. Certain working breeds of dogs, such as the Mastiff types, have a kind of low to medium requirement of exercise during the day, but a large proportion of working breeds have a high exercise requirement. So it's really important to consider, do you have the time for the level of exercise that these dogs are going to require to be happy dogs? Because they may not adapt particularly well to being pet dogs without that kind of adequate physical and mental stimulation in a day. And they can be prone to things like destructive behaviours if they are under-exercised or under-stimulated. So owners need to be really dedicated. So have you got that time and energy required for this breed of dog? Certain working dogs also have very strong protective instincts, so consideration needs to be made as to how many visitors you may have into your house on a regular basis, because certain breeds of dogs wouldn't be as happy with this as others. And also, if you're considering getting them from a puppy, it's really important that you have the time and energy to put into adequate socialisation for these breeds, because that's really important if we want them to be happy with different animals, say dogs, maybe cats in the house and strangers, as we've already mentioned. And then other working breeds have very different coats. So a perfect example would be the Newfoundland. So what we need to consider is whether we have the time to take care of the coat, which will require quite a lot of looking after. So that's another important part of whether you have the time for a working breed of dog. Here is an example of the health considerations of one of the working breed group, the Newfoundland. The following are inherited conditions that thankfully can be tested for. Hip scoring will determine the condition of the hips. Heart testing will rule out the very serious inherited heart conditions, and a DNA test will eliminate cystinuria, which is an inherited disorder of the urinary tract.
Bye-bye. Good girl.
Dogs in the pastoral group are bred to either herd or guard livestock. The herders are both sensitive to movement and are incredibly intelligent, making them great at their jobs. The most common herding dogs include the Border Collie, German Shepherd and Australian Shepherd dog. The guarders are bred for their physical strength and courage to protect their flocks. Examples of guard breeds are the Pyrenean Mountain Dog and Commodores. Certain pastoral breeds are really unheard of in our country, certainly as pet dogs for definite. Other ones are really commonly heard of. So particularly well-known one is the Border Collie. So Border Collies seem to be incredibly popular as pet dogs because there is a large thought process that they're very easy to train, which is incredibly true. They are incredibly easy to train, but there's a problem with that. They're incredibly quick to learn, and that's either way. So they're quick to learn the stuff that we'd like them to learn. They're also incredibly quick at learning the stuff that we don't want them to learn. So it's actually really important, if you're thinking of a Border Collie, especially, that you are really on the ball when it comes to what the dog is learning in those first early important years of their life. So it's really going to be important to channel all those natural instincts to make sure that we are teaching suitable behaviours rather than behaviours that we don't want. That's actually quite true with a lot of the pastoral dogs, incredibly intelligent dogs, especially the herding type. And these are the types that need quite a lot of mental and physical stimulation because they were bred to do those jobs. So we need to make sure that those energies, especially the herding ones, are channeled onto things that we can control, because what we don't want is unsuitable herding of things like bikes and joggers and cats and other dogs and things. So it's quite important to guide them onto more suitable activities. For the Garders, less so. So the Garders, so the types of dogs that were bred to flock guard, they're less high energy requirements. They're a bit more steady dogs. But as a point, they're also guard breeds. So they're going to be the type of dogs that are not going to be so happy with visitors coming to the house unless they are really adequately socialised with people from a young puppy. So it's really important to consider socialisation with these dogs, both herders and guarders of the pastoral breed, because they are really meant to be working alongside one person, or in sense of guarders, really alone with their flocks. So they build really strong, loyal bonds to those people that they work with, certain members of the family. So it's really important that they are taught when they're young that new people and strangers and visitors are really good as well, because that's not something they would do normally in their line of work. Also, these dogs normally have excellent hearing. Remember that they're doing a job from a long distance away from their handler. So in a daily life in our world, where they're not in the middle of a field or in the middle of a big expanse of land, we have lots of noises and sounds, and they can be quite prone to noise sensitivities unless we're really careful with helping them acclimatise to all the different sounds that we have in our world, more so than what they would have had with the jobs that they were doing. So it's really important that they have positive associations with those as a puppy. And thinking of coat type is really important too, because quite a lot of them need quite a bit of coat care. Even the Border Collie, they're quite prone to getting things stuck in that long feather bits at the back of their fur. But dogs such as BREEDS as well have huge coat care because the coat is ever so long. So it's really important that that's part of a thought process when adopting or taking on a pastoral breed of dog. Here is an example of the health considerations of one of the pastoral breed group, the Border Collie. The following are inherited conditions that affect the collie breed, including partial or total deafness, eye conditions that would affect the sight, hip and elbow dysplasia that would create abnormalities in both joints, a severe neurological disease which would affect their movement, and an immune system disease where the dog would be unable to fight infection.
You know, they work 24 hours a day and they've got good noses and they're fearless when it comes to protecting whatever kind of animal they've been put with, you know, whether it be cattle or goats or sheep or chickens. They may look like they're just sleeping in the shade or not paying attention to anything. What you don't realize is that these dogs have been working all night and they're kind of resting in the daytime. Just about dark, the coyotes start howling here and back and forth across the canyons and the mountains, the hills here. These dogs are really astute as to what's going on. And all night long, they're patrolling the fence lines and responding to any yip or sound or smell that they smell during the night. They'll just go right in and attack whatever is there. And I mean, these dogs, the females weigh about 125 pounds and the males weigh 150 pounds. And that's bigger than most wolves. A coyote maybe weigh 30, 35 pounds, a big one. And they don't have a chance. And I think these dogs will run faster than a coyote.
Terriers are bred to be tough, active little dogs whose original function was to chase and catch vermin, mice, rats and sometimes larger pests, often going underground to perform their duties, which is why they are a smaller breed so that they can fit down holes. Examples of the terrier breed include the Jack Russell Terrier and the West Highland White Terrier. When considering the addition of a terrier into your family, you need to think about whether you're ready for this busy little charismatic dog with a huge personality. So terriers are fantastic little things. Obviously, as avid hunters, because that was what they were bred to do for generations, it's a really important consideration if you have small pets in your household, that either your terrier is adequately socialised with them from a young puppy to learn not to chase, or that terriers may not be the breed for you if you do have a lot of small furry animals as part of your family already. So because they are hunters, they are quick little dogs, alert and very excited by fast movement. So it's really important that those energies are channeled suitably onto toy play to prevent them learning that activity on anything that we wouldn't want them to do. And obviously they're courageous little dogs, so they're fantastic to have as little companions. Although adequate socialisation is needed, as with all dogs, they seem to be really sturdy little dogs to be able to kind of be part of our world. And being small enough, they're really handy to take places with you. Coat care is really important for them too, because there's a large variety in the terrier type with coat types. So certain ones will need clipping, other ones will need grooming through, certain ones will need hand stripping. So it's quite important to consider this is quite a strong part of owning a terrier is their coat care. Their exercise levels can be quite high, medium to high, depending on the breed. So again, they will tolerate, short walks around the block for certain breeds. Other ones will need like a nice big hike through the woods. So exercise requirements and the right type of terrier for you really need to be thought of before taking them into the home. The other thing to consider is because they're terriers, they're bred to dig. So quite a lot of terriers do like digging. So you need to be ready. If you've got a nice garden, maybe a terrier isn't for you because they do like to do a bit of digging. And the other thing is they can be quite vocal. So because terriers were bred to dig in holes and go after certain prey, they often, if they got stuck, needed to shout and tell their handlers where they were. So terriers do like a bit of a bark occasionally. So you need to be ready for one that does like a little bit of a talkative conversation every now and then. So as long as that all sounds fantastic, then terriers may be the puppy for you. So it's really important to consider those things though. Have you got the energy levels ready for a busy little terrier? Are you ready to play good games with fluffy toys to divert those energies? And if you are, then terrier's one for you. Here is an example of the health considerations of one of the terrier breed group, the West Highland Terrier. The following are some of a number of conditions which affect the West Highland White Terrier, including von Willebrand's disease, which is a clotting disorder of the blood, a hemolytic anemia, a disorder in which red blood cells are destroyed faster than they can be made, and an eye condition, which can affect their sight.
Oh, Tony, you're so cute. Get that little teddy bear. Get that teddy bear, Tony. Get that teddy bear.
It's not a teddy bear, it's a squirrel.
Get that squirrel. Try you get that squirrel.
The toy group. This group houses the smallest dog breeds. Their breed origins often date back centuries, where they were used as companion dogs and were often a symbol of wealth and status. Examples of toy breeds are the Bichon Frise, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel and pugs. The various toy breeds are exceptionally popular, and for very good reason. We've selectively bred them over generations to make fantastic companion dogs for us, willing to please but not quite as demanding as their working counterparts. So an important consideration when thinking of taking on a toy breed is potential for time alone, as these dogs are not massive fans of being left. So if you are a family that is out to work quite a number of hours a day, then potentially this breed group is not right for you unless alternative arrangements can be made for the dog. However, if you want a dog that can easily adapt to travelling everywhere with you, then this is definitely a breed group to consider. Another thought is the potential healthcare costs for some of the toy breeds. So some of them have shortened muzzles, which have the potential for breathing difficulties. Some of them have bulbous eyes, which have the potential for damage. So healthcare costs are a really important factor to cater into whether a toy breed is right for you. Also coat care. Some of the toy breeds need a lot of time invested into their coats, either by yourself or by a groomer, which obviously would have a cost implication too. So some of the toy breeds really do need quite regular visits to the groomer, so that would be an important thing to think of. And also, are you ready for a little vocal dog? So toy breeds can be quite chatty, and that's an important part of owning a toy breed, is expecting that they're going to be a little bit talkative and not being too bothered by it. So if you're happy with a dog that requires medium amount of exercise, will travel various places with you and be happy to do it, to chat along with you, then this definitely is a breed group to consider. Here is an example of the health considerations of one of the toy breed group, the Papillon. The following are inherited conditions that thankfully can be tested for, including 2 blood clotting disorders, a deteriorating eye condition which can lead to blindness, and a condition of the nervous system causing poor coordination.
I let the light unveil my eyes, clear my mind, renewing me from my darkened feet. And do you hear my voice? Come find me in the shadows.
Thanks for watching!